What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to the Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3 Fight Night, Episode 5. Hell yeah, Grubby. It's been 5 episodes already. We're bringing you some of the finest players to duke it out for the prize money, for the fame, and the title of the champion of the Fight Night. Today, we've got a special treat for you guys, because for the first time in our relatively young Fight Night history, we're going to have a human player challenging our current champion, Starshaped, on the Night Elves. Grubby, how excited are you about this matchup, man?
Yeah, it's very nice to see a human coming to the fight night, Kendric. And I enjoyed your interview with him, where we got to pick PriesT's brain a little bit. So he seemed like a very humble dude, a little bit reminiscent of Starshaped, and a little bit less like Pride. If you look at Pride, he was like, "I'm coming for you. You better be ready," and that's cool too, you know. But PriesT was like, "We'll see what happens. I'm reactive." Starship seems like a safe player. I don't know what shape I'm going to be in, because it's like, is he going to be reactive? And what is his opponent going to do? So he was like very cautious about stating his perceived chances in this match. But he is our first human, and he will set the trend for how some of the viewers here will perceive that race. It's very exciting to see.
Perhaps it's all a facade. Perhaps it's all of his. It's part of his plan, his grand master plan, to look innocent and reactive on the interview, and then to come out swinging and force his game plan onto Starshaped. Who knows?
It would be really sick if he's like, Kendric, this dude, he's all right, but I'm not going to tell him a shred of truth.
Exactly, because we know that he's snitching on us. He's telling everything to Starshaped if I tell him too many things.
Because the video goes online and Starshaped can watch the interview, because his own interview, he must have watched it, so he knows the channel and he might study it for information. And he's like, yeah, I'm just reactive and stuff. Before you know it, 3 of the sickest all-ins. That'll be sick.
But yeah, guys, we hope that you're looking forward to that matchup as much as we are. There is, of course, our special twist about the Heroes Hearth Fight Night, and that is that you guys out there can actually make a contribution. You can make an impact on how much money the players are walking away with, because the standard rate, which is $200 for the winner and $100 for the loser, is quite nice and all. But if you guys donate any bits on Twitch during the broadcast, that all goes into the pot that accumulates over the course of time. So if any of the players wins today, that bit pot, we want to call it, will go to their place. And at some point, the players, of course, could opt of going out. You know, they could be like, well, I'm a chicken. I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm not coming back 2 weeks. I want my money. Then that's their right. But of course, if you want to gamble and if you want to potentially increase your pizza money, then you're going to come back in 14 days. So far, nobody has ever chickened out. And I think that's not going to change.
It would be funny just to be the first player that walks away after a single win. It's like, peace. I mean, it makes sense. Eventually, you will reach the point where it is profitable enough to walk away after one game that it makes more sense than to play. So the cheer pot right now is over $100, I believe, with the bounty. So whoever walks away from a next challenge will get another 100 for having played that single match that they just won. But eventually, that might be $200, $300, $500, $1,000. Who knows? If no one ever walks away, so you could just win once and get $1,200, $200 prize money plus the pot, or you could play again and maybe win $400. It's like at some point there will be a tipping point. That's part of what's fun here as well, and you guys' support bolsters that decision making as well for these players. But for now, PriesT, he's starting with nothing. Loser gets $100, winner gets $200, so PriesT already gets that 100 at least. But he has a chance to win much more, because the winner gets 200 and the bounty from all 4 fight nights so far.
Yeah, absolutely true, Grubby. And humans, I'm just super excited to see what they're going to come out with, because to me personally, as someone who watches a lot of Warcraft 3, who plays it every now and then, I think human to me at the moment is just the race where the meta, I think, hasn't really settled yet. I think with you probably can't say that about all the races, but with human, I think it's the most extreme. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you're right, because few races have changed as much as human. Before, when you described the identity of the human race, it was like they're the macro race, fast expand, and then something. Now they are like the maybe second or third most expanding race after Night Elf. And they do a lot of one base stuff. PriesT mentioned it as well. He's playing more tier 3 these days. We're seeing a lot more Paladin play, either second or even first or third. So it's quite interesting what we can see. Most recently in Europe, we saw MTW Cash, the Orc player from Russia. He was playing human off-race just to make use of humans' strengths. This has never happened.
That's crazy.
After X-Lord in 2005, where he was playing human as an off-race. Since then, Europe has never had a voluntary human off-race player. And now we have it again. Johnny Cash, MTW Cash, Johnny Cage, MTW Cash. They're playing off-race human to abuse a matchup against Night Elf. So as much as PriesT said he thinks it's 50-50, a lot of Orc players or random players, they like human into Night Elf. And they're playing things like Archmage Paladin. Archmage Paladin tier 2, Archmage Paladin tier 3. I'll be curious to see if PriesT plays something like that.
How times have changed, right, Grubby? Because just a few weeks and months ago, when we had this very same matchup, if you take Chinese players like TH or Infi, for example, they would do the exact opposite. They wouldn't play human, which was considered to be their main race. They would oftentimes go for a Night Elf mirror, right?
Yeah, exactly. They'd rather play Night Elf Mirror or Night Elf versus anything, basically.
Just not the humans.
Just not human. And now people are picking human again. You see TH and Infi also returning to human once again. So chances for human have rarely been better. Statistically, by tournaments over the last year, human is second or third best right now. Night Elf is best. Orc being worst. Together with Undead, I guess. So I think human is second. They have two pretty good matchups. Human, good against Orc, neutral against Elf, and weak against Undead, statistically anyway. And it's a smaller sample size than it deserves, but that's how it is. So we'll see. It should be about 50-50 in this matchup.
Yeah. And, it's hard to say who's got the edge here. I feel like 2 weeks ago when we had our match between Starshaped and Kiwi, I feel like we didn't really get to see Starshaped, really challenged because it always seemed like the game was kind of like going one-sided. And I really want to see if PriesT perhaps can put Starshaped to the test today, where he's forced out of his comfort zone, perhaps, where Starshaped really has to give it his 100%. And let's see if that's going to happen, guys. We have our first game ready on the way on Amazonia between Night Elf, represented by Starshaped, and Human, represented by PriesT. So I think in just a few seconds, we're about to find out who's going to walk away with game one. Yeah,
we've got a best of 5 on our hands with the opening map, Amazonia. It is the smallest. Oh, right, you're the host. It is we're not used to that. It's the smallest map of the pool. I'm thinking, okay, who is this good for? I think it's really bad for human, to be honest. Because on this map, human doesn't really get to have space to go anywhere, really, without the Keeper of the Grove being on his case and tangling and killing footmen.
All right, and something, Grubby, that I think is really interesting to see as well in this matchup is the mind games in the early stages of the game in terms of hero choice, right? Because ever since the Keeper has not really been the standard must-pick go-to choice anymore, we see a lot more Demon Hunter, maybe some neutral hero choices, and I think with Human Night Elf, that is so tricky, because if the Human, for example, expects a Keeper, sometimes in smaller maps like Terenas Stand, for example, you go Mountain King first, with Fast Expansion, for example. But if you go Mountain King into Demon Hunter, things don't really look so good anymore.
Yeah, that's bad. However, on Amazonia, there's only one pick for human. It's Archmage. I've never seen any other, except maybe like Naga first Tower Rush, but the build would have looked different already. So we should be seeing the Archmage coming out. And the question is Starshaped, Demon, or Keeper, and it's going to be Demon Hunter. So we've got a Demon Hunter and Archmage matchup. In the interview that you conducted, Kendric, with PriesT, we already heard PriesT talking about picking up a Naga Sea Witch second to deal with Demon Hunter, which he felt is very useful at suppressing everything that the Demon Hunter does. And he's right. Naga is the best second pick against Demon. You slow his movement and attack speed, something an agility hero that is melee heavily relies on. And Naga isn't very mana dependent. You only need a little bit of mana to do a Frost Arrow, which slows him. So even if you get mana burned, before you know it, boom, Frost Arrow again. And it's pretty tough for the Demon. So I think it's difficult, man, running Demon into Archmage Naga. So let's see how Starshaped does it. He put on a really good showing last week, 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely. And speaking of Starshape's immaculate form, he does a really wonderful lightning shield creep pull here. Makes sure to hit the archer with it, deals as much damage as possible, but of course doesn't want to get the last hit with it, because if you use the Ancient of War or the lightning shield, no experience goes over to the Demon Hunter. Does it perfectly though, and already walks over to potentially harass the Archmage, harass the human already, try to maybe steal a minion to get that cheeky level 2. On the opposite side, of course, Priest is trying to mirror the movement here with a little bit of creeping by himself, but the Demon Hunter already on his way.
Yeah, and he's going to end up Ancient of War creeping with the Archer in the meantime. And if he doesn't deny it with the Ancient of War by accident, and he doesn't,
here we go.
He will get level 2 as he comes over here. And we see some of that Daylight Cloak of Shadows usage here by Priest in an attempt to circumvent the mana burn. But he was too late, and he figures, okay, I already got burned. I don't need to hide anymore. So that's a double mana burn. We see a 29 food here for Priest. 3 farms, no extra farm on the way, so he's gonna tech extremely late. This is neither fast expansion nor fast tech. This is a 4-footman tech. The only thing that I can think of that he's doing with this, especially as there's no 4th farm coming, is that he will upgrade the defend now with 5-footman, that is. And does he? We gotta see a defend coming out here, or his build is invalid. Still looking at it, didn't get it yet. Nope,
what's really cute here as well is that if you look at the Night Elf base right now, Priest sent over one tiny little footman to consistently harass the wisps that are doing the lumber work. So while the footman is not really, the super scariest of units, the damage over time, especially when you're occupied somewhere else and harassing the Demon Hunter, for example, forces the micro attention away from the player. So even if you just get 1 or 2 wisps, that's already a pretty big deal, especially during the tech, right? Which you can see in the Night Elf main tree. Now going on as well. So cute little move, and even saves the footman, so it doesn't even have to sacrifice the unit.
Yeah, you're right, and it's good that you point that out. And actually, Priest build did make sense because he went Blacksmith instead of defense, so he really just wants the 4 footman. He doesn't need more farms. It's all about riflemen now. But yeah, that's a good point. And I think, how many creeps did Priest leave at the small green camp? Yet he has more XP than the demon. I did some quick maths, and I believe the footman killed 2 wisps. 50 experience
I think so too, yeah. I think he got 2.
And we see that in the food count reflected as well. Starshaped is exactly 2 food less than he normally would be. So that's a nice little bit of lumber damage that he has dealt. And with the Hunter's Hall coming, that means Ancient of Lore, Dryads and Bears. These are very lumber expensive things. So that's a nice win for Priest.
Yeah. Both heroes, by the way, equipped now with new slippers with Boots of Speed. That's also something we have seen a little bit, coming back into the meta, whereas before 1.31, boots were rarely seen, only on certain heroes every now and then. But now, I think there's 2 charges in the store. You can really see that more heroes, especially agility heroes, are relying on them again.
Nice micro with that footman, super sweet moves. Blocking the Demon Hunter and derping out his positioning. So beautiful to see micro like that in Warcraft 3, and he saves his footman with it. These are relevant moves.
A town is under siege.
The Naga, Grubby.
Oh yeah, is he going for the Naga, Sea Witch? The rifleman is waiting next to the tavern, and there we go. It's Naga versus Naga.
Oh, so double Frost arrow shenanigans coming in. We've seen... In our previous matchups, of course, when Night Elves were facing Orcs, we've seen a little bit of Pandaren action. And I think the Pandaren is still a very hot hero at the moment. But against humans, they seem to value the constant harass and additional slowing for the Demon Hunter to deliver more DPS on that slow target as well to be very valuable.
It just seems like a really poor idea by Priest to even be here. I don't understand it. He just loses Naga for free. Nice deny there by Starshaped as well on his own archer. But what is Priest really doing here? Attacking an Ancient of War, losing a Naga and a rifle, and getting 2 archers maybe if he's lucky?
Yep, if he's lucky. But of course, archers are the cheapest units in the Night Elf arsenal, and he just lost the rifleman, as you said, Grubby. So not only a level 1 hero, which it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's still something. And using that many units on top of that, I mean,
Players' forces are
PriesT
under
in his
attack.
interview, when we conducted that a couple of days ago, he said it himself. The early game is so crucial in this matchup because if, especially as the human, you lose a rifle, you lose a footy here and there, it can really snowball throughout the mid and late game.
Yeah, he said if you lose 2 units, that could just be it. That's how important the early is. And he pretty much did just that. So breaking his own preferential progress of the game. And he made that happen. It's not like he got caught. He just ran to the Insta-4. I understand what he's doing. He's trying to deny Insta-4 creeping. But Starshaped actually had kind of clever movement. He wrapped around the left side of the map and backstabbed PriesT on his own side of the map. I bet PriesT didn't expect him to come from that direction. So Starshaped has to be credited with that, even if PriesT put himself in that scenario.
Now we saw some really good creep in there. Double level up for the Night Elf. Starshaped now looking strong with 3-2 heroes. On the opposite side, we see a level 1 Naga, of course, partly responsible because of that early loss that he had to suffer. And his footmen are quite hurt already. If he was to run into Starshaped in his current shape and form, I think an early TP or the healing scroll, which he smartly actually bought at the Goblin shop, would be, forced to use. And here we go. We have Starshaped coming in from behind, trying to go for the caster unit immediately. Every priest that dies early will make it so much easier with the Naga and the Dryads to burst targets down with good focus fire. Look at the footmen. They're so hurt. The healing scroll is still in his arsenal. He loses 1.
He's not heal scrolling for these footmen, losing 2 practically instantly. There we go with the 3rd one. He lost the priest to the demon hunter and almost lost the 2nd one. And yeah, he's got that Dryad. That's a great job. Archmage gets level 3 and he's brought militia. Now, in my opinion, these militia are a little bit late. This is a small map. He had 400 lumber and 9 wood peasants. When you're in that situation, you bring militia every minute of the map. Every time. You just bring them as a backup so that you don't have to do it reactively. But in his own words, he does play reactive, so they're kind of late, and now he's fighting against Rejuvenation, no Priest, no Dispel. He goes out, he saved the Naga.
The TP was called, but the peasants, they're all lost now in the bottom. That's 5 peasants, free XP, baby. PriesT abandoning the poor workers. They're all gonna die. I'm not even sure why he brought them down to the Goblin Laboratory in the first place. The Zeppelin was even stolen from Starshaped, so the human couldn't evacuate those poor little peasants out of the fray. Starshaped just demolishing his human opponent PriesT so far.
Yeah, this is big wins here for Starshaped, and there's like 2 consolations to losing 6 peasants randomly for no reason. One is, while you're killing the peasants, I'm taking this big camp. But he wasn't. He went for a small one. Now he's taking the big one, and he could get quick jack. But he will actually get away with it because Starshaped is getting the Goblin shop. Okay. The second one is, once you get to 50 food, your army is enormous because there are so few peasants left in it. But staying on 50 food is risky. If you meet an opponent and you only have 50 food, you don't have the max amount of army that you might have if you're banking up gold. Still, if you do get to that situation and it does become a turtle game, then you have an advantage. 50 food army, that's big, and you're getting a lot of gold still.
All right, Grubby, here's another skirmish breaking out in the middle of the map here. We see the Zeppelin getting sniped down by PriesT. Nice little catch here, because we've seen players become really good in Warcraft 3 with the Zeppelin micro. Of course, you're a master at that subject, if I dare say so myself. So very similar to StarCraft players, sometimes, War Prison harass with the Immortals and stuff like that. Players have become really good when it comes to saving heroes, especially against mana burns sometimes, perhaps. So sniping that away, always a good thing to do.
Yeah, it's a great win. Otherwise, it will just be used against you. Once again, the back is turned towards the opponent, and PriesT dies for free here by PriesT. His rifleman actually moved commands into bears just for a bit, and he's trying to focus down a bear. Nice heal scroll, great job by PriesT. He's trying to micro away the rifles, but 2 have gone down. Starshaped actually says, you know what, I don't need my ranged army anymore, I'm gonna take it away. The Dryads will not get focus fired by your rifles. I'll leave this to the bears and Naga and Demon Hunter, and he's doing really fine with it.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Big Daddy Demon Hunter in the front line here, single-handedly slicing and dicing his way through to victory. He had plus 10 damage, so much additional agility, and PriesT taps out in game number 1, completely overwhelmed. His game plan definitely didn't really work out. Losing too many units in the early game, bringing over the peasants, only to lose them again in an absolute massacre. So, history repeated itself, Grubby, in this game so far. Starshaped looking strong, and looking like he's ready to defend his title in a quick 3-0. But, we've said this many times, Human is not giving up that easily.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of the TV show Gladiator, where they bring in Spartacus. That's not what she called
one of
me.
my favorite shows, by the way.
So good, that actor.
So good.
Andy Whitfield. He's like, that's not what she called me. He was so good. Anyway, he goes to the Gladiator arena, right? And he keeps like winning with a single slice because he's that good.
Yeah.
And then like the Gladiator arena masters, they're like, you have to draw it out more. You have to put on a show. Starshaped reminds me of that. He's like, the quickest double 3-0 ever? Sure. Like, okay, there we go. 10-minute game. Because last fortnight he won in like 30 minutes, 3-0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, chat almost like a Coliseum crowd booing and throwing potatoes, tomatoes, whatever into the ring.
Yeah,
we want more games.
But that was a great play, and if a human loses 2 units and he's in a bad spot, normally on Amazonia, take that down to 1. Because this is a knife fight in a small alley. You can't really walk around the map doing anything if you are the weaker one. You will get found so easily. So everything needs to be on point. And actually, it seems like there was a wrong estimation by PriesT as well. There was more going on here than we even talked about. Because PriesT walked to the expansion with the Ancient of War more than 3 times. Maybe 3 or 4 times. Looking for an expansion. So he was saying, I think the way you win this game is by expanding. And he checked it 3 times. That means he has a history of either losing to expansion or winning because he stops it. Otherwise, he wouldn't do it.
Right.
Because he didn't scout first. You could send a peasant and then react to it. However, he just went to the expansion with his whole army, a big commitment, which proves he has a really big assumption that this is what's going on. So actually, there's something bad because he wastes so much time, but there's also something good because Starshaped did not expand. So maybe he can just like kind of let that avenue of thought go away and actually creep, because he had many opportunities where he could be creeping instead.
Yeah.
And I think actually Human with Archmage Naga will do very well against Demon Hunter Bears. Bears and Demon Hunter not as strong as they used to be against Human. Riflemen got stronger, Bears got weaker with patches. So if he can let either scout properly or let the idea of an expansion go because he has a wrong estimation, maybe he will do very well in the next game.
Yeah, especially, of course, because it's his choice right now. The loser gets to choose the map, and we're playing on Terenas Stand, which is our next map. And here, all of a sudden, of course, a larger, arsenal of strategies becomes available because the map is a little bit larger. The map is a little bit better for the human to creep with, strong experience to be snatched away early on with militia creep, for example. Even a fast expansion could be, thought of. And as we said earlier, a Mountain King first is totally viable in this map.
Very good. It's not ideal against Demon Hunter, but it still works because if on Terenas Stand, the distance to the opponent's expansion is the longest of almost any map. It takes like a minute to walk there. On Amazonia, it's like 30 seconds. So if you do a single bots around Force TP on Demon Hunter, he's gone for a long time. Then you just get your expansion, tower up, and cool. Could still be Archmage. It could even be Blood Mage first, which is has also been seen. I guess it really depends on what heroes he is capable of playing. PriesT. This is a solid map choice with usually 2 versus 2 base play by these races in this matchup.
Yeah, so let's see if the mind games are going to be applied here. Who's expanding? Who's counter harassing? Perhaps who's trying to go for the early game harass? Let's see what's going to happen, guys. The game number 2 is on the way between PriesT the challenger, and Starshaped, the reigning champion. By the way, we've already had some bits coming in to the stream, so thank you very much, guys, for supporting the prize pool. The player pockets are getting a little bit fuller with your contribution. Keeps the scene alive, keeps the players alive, so thank you very much.
I could not agree more, Kendric, but I did get distracted by something very cool. A barracks first. This is a barracks first opening by
Neutral
PriesT.
hero, question mark?
Yeah, it's gonna be a neutral hero, unless it's like for Footman Mountain King Rush. People used to do that until they realized it was awful. But yeah, it's gonna be a tavern hero from the middle. There's 8 choices. Chat, which one do you think it's going to be? Will it be the fire? Will it be the Fire Lord because he's cool?
I've seen Fire Lord tower rushes against Orc. Against Night Elf, I'm not so sure.
It's usually with the Naga Sea Witch. Naga Sea Witch, Footman tower rush can be very powerful, especially if you also mess with the mercenary camp creeping, so that the Night Elf does not get level 2, does not get free mercenary access. It's very strong. I almost lost to a Naga Tower Rush myself against someone that had like half my win rate recently. So it is a very dangerous strategy. And the cool thing is, PriesT picks a map that speaks volumes about macro play, about expanding, and then just flies straight into the wind with that prediction. I mean, he could go Tavern Hero and then expand. Like, oh, this is actually a Dark Ranger Footman triple barracks Footman rifle game. It's possible. But usually this is an all-in. So let's see what it's going to be.
Yeah, some people in chat are also throwing the Tinker into the mix, saying that Tinker Tower Rush can also be very dangerous. Of course, adding additional, robots from the Pocket Factory could very well boost the damage, especially if the Night Elf has only archers at his disposal. Now, let's see, though. The first Footman doesn't immediately go for the Tavern. The second one will probably get that job done. The first footy gets sent straight to the base. Now spots the archer, spots the Ancient of War, and also sees the Demon Hunter. So now PriesT knows what he's up to. But as Grubby said, it doesn't really matter what you're playing. This tactic is so strong and works so well that they're just going to make it work. And there we go. The Prophet has spoken, guys, and Grubby is delivering you the perfect analysis. We see PriesT Naga, of course, accompanied by a lot of militia and footmen soon. And at this point, Starshaped's alert is ringing very, very shriekly because he now knows what's up. The first archer has fallen already. The creep was actually gotten here by Starshaped. That's great.
And he did lose an archer, but look how useless Naga is against, how useless Demon is against Naga Sea Witch. He got very lucky item though, Cloak of Shadows, using it in the day, 1.5 hours of game. Vulgar stuff now, right? Oh.
Come on, Grubby, hit us up with that most vulgar stuff.
Well, I realized the stream was down and we're not doing a local recording, so we could just say anything at all. Everything we've ever wanted to say. I secretly love Twitch chat. I hope they never find out. But yeah, anyway, the Tower Rush is still in full swing. I don't know if you guys can see it yet. Looks like you can. Great. So, okay, the first 2 towers were cancelled by Starshaped, and he's uprooted both of his Ancient of War to cancel the towers again.
Yup, and down goes the towers, ladies and gentlemen. Look at these healthy trees, keeping the Night Elf safe and sound. And at this point, a lot of steam, a lot of momentum has been taken away off PriesT sails, because this tactic, this strategy was designed and tailored to end the game early. Now he's stuck without an Archmage. He is stuck without a lot of resources that he invested into this. Those slow peasants are only now making their way back into the main base. So Grubby, you said this yourself, right? You almost lost to this strategy many times yourselves. Now, how good can you recover once your Tower Rush got denied so perfectly well by a Night Elf player?
This was an all-in. What we're watching now probably is an extended death animation. The Mortal Kombat guy is screaming, "Finish him!" Because at this point, we're just waiting for a fatality. The Demon Hunter is going to get level 3 from this. He's got more defenses than can ever be taken down. And the only chance that PriesT has is to take an expansion and then to tower up. Yeah, it is going to get spotted. He's even going to wake up. Oh, that's cute. So by using the Moonwell too close to creeps, they actually get aggroed before PriesT starts the fight. Which means that the first In of Fire gets cast. It just makes it that much more difficult for a little bit for PriesT to creep it. He takes a little bit more damage. Just, cute moves. Imports the Demon Hunter with Staff of Teleport. He's got Lightning Shield.
Oh boy.
And he gets surrounded. There's no dust though.
Yeah, there's no dust. He could use the cloak, that he has in his inventory. He's waiting until the very last moment. Now let's see, how is PriesT going to react to this? There is a Goblin Laboratory, of course, but there's no units, no farm there yet. And the Demon Hunter gets out. Oh, did I speak too soon? One frost, 2 frost.
One more hit.
Oh no, he gets away. Are you kidding me? He doesn't have to use the town portal. The Telestaff would have been on cooldown, Grubby. That could have been a nice win, a nice little win here for PriesT at least. Doesn't get it.
Yep. Demon Hunter only needed to get hit one more time.
Boots of speed for the win.
There was the distance, there was the boots of speed, and there was, of course, evasion. We don't know if that hit would have landed.
All right, and here we go. And Starshaped is like, you know what, PriesT? Those puny towers, we're going to make you taste your own medicine. I'm going to send my Ancient Protector over there. Got my archers. I've even got a Huntress now. So your units are not going to matter at all. And he's just going to play cat and mouse with those human units. I think maybe with the help of the militia, they can tear down the Ancient Protector. But by doing so, of course, they're exposing themselves. And the Demon Hunter, freshly rejuvenated by the Moon Shoes, is now joining the fray here. Puts another Lightning Shield onto the Hunters just to style on the PriesT. And I think that is looking mighty grim for NA Challenger.
Yeah, very nice moves by Starshaped. It's very dynamic play here, coming in with the staffs, using the Lightning Shield there. Now we've got 2 towers at 60%. And that's why PriesT is sending his units to their seeming pointless death. These footmen are getting kited by archers and shot by huntresses. Towers, 80%. Demon Hunter actually lost sight of Naga for a bit. Towers, 90%, 95, 98.
They finish. They finish and the workers are ready. The workers are ready to repair him if need be. So now it's all about holding and buying a little bit of extra time here for PriesT.
The block with the peasant.
Nice.
Good
Can't
job.
get out of this one, Huntress. Nope. And he's even blocking him because he realized the peasant was too low HP to survive long enough. What a nice little victory by PriesT. A sign of life. A breath of fresh air. So nice to see.
Now, of course, the Huntress did kill one more peasant as she went down, inevitably so. And now the Tree of Life is walking for Starshaped as well. He just started his tier 2, so he's 20% of the way there. Whereas PriesT, pretty much the same, 15% of the way. So we have a slight tech lead for Starshaped. We're really in Stone Age's Warcraft 3. Both players tier 1, defending tower rushes, taking tower rushes. Now they're working on their expansions and their tech. The big difference is big standing army for Starshaped. We've got 4 Huntresses, 4 Archers, and also a Demon Hunter level 4.2 against a Naga level 2.6. That's a big deal.
That's a mighty big deal. The only saving grace, perhaps, Grubby, for PriesT in this scenario could be that the Demon Hunter's items are relatively weak. You know, we don't really see any damage boosters, no circlets, no class of attack. So he does have a little bit of extra mobility and survivability with the cloak and the ring, but aside from that, this Demon Hunter could have already hit a little bit worse, so that could potentially be a saving grace. Now, of course, it would be terrible for PriesT if he was getting creep-jacked here, which is exactly what's going to happen. Mana gets burned, damage gets dealt, and he needs to run. He's not ready yet to fight this Knight of Army. Or is he? 2 riflemen joining the fray. 1 dies. Never mind.
What? Yeah, he's actually the main target of... is there another Lightning Shield? This is crazy. Man, the creeps are helping. 200. But take it down though, bro. 200 load. There we go. 1 Huntress goes down. 2nd Huntress goes down. But the creeps were actually very unkindly looking upon PriesT. They were the ones that took down the first Rifleman and much of the Berserker.
Yeah.
Players' forces are under
and the Demon Hunter got the big fat mana potion. He stole it from the wizard at the mercenary camp here, and he's now trying to hunt down the human first hero, which got body blocked a little bit, but not good enough. So, how deep does the Demon Hunter want to go? He realizes, or he's taken a gamble. Tier 2 is not there yet, so that means no healing pots at the shop, only slowpoke healing, no additional
Cloak.
TP as well.
Cloak.
And with the tankiness, he's gonna get it. The cloak just in the nick of time, and now he's trapped. We know that game already. Demon Hunter needs to be evacuated, but how is he gonna get out of this?
Well, the funny thing is,
no
in the
way.
meantime, the Mauler and the Rifleman are actually killing archers, which is actually the biggest win here because the demon has stop of teleport. Nice move, Priest. You know, he didn't just want to hide and be safe. He wanted to hide in just the right place, and he did just that. Trapping in the Demon Hunter was cool, but the inattention that the tier 1 units from Starshaped actually got, that was the real win.
Yeah.
Because in the first half of the fight, Priest lost everything. Second half of the fight, Starshaped lost everything. And it's cool, right? Demon Hunter's level 4.8, but he has no units left. 33 food, still reproducing wisps, lost a lot of lumber, and he's going tier 3 with 2 lures, but at the moment, all he has is a Demon Hunter and 2 mercenaries. Now, what does Priest have? He's upgrading his Rifleman. That's going to be a staple unit for him.
Attack.
Yeah, long rifles, second attack upgrade. He's got a few rifles. Sanctum is coming. Archmage is out. And a workshop. Actually liking how this game is going for Priest at this time. Better than he might have expected. The big threat for him is going to be hero levels. Starshaped, he could be getting level 5 Demon Hunter at some point. And he's working on his Panda. There's so many creeps left on the map because these players have only been creeping themselves, like each other. So Panda stands to gain 1, 2, 3 levels just from creeps. And he's really good against what Priest has here.
You know what, Grubby? I think at the moment it's really good to be a Pandaren in any Blizzard game, basically. We have the Chen Storm Stout rework in Heroes of the Storm coming next week. The Pandaren recently got buffed in Warcraft 3. And I can't wait to see what Starship can do with it. Already we see a Zeppelin, and that could be a very nasty harass into the back alley of the humans' main base. We do see one guard tower over here. But
And he can make a flying machine, which would help as well. And he's also preparing a tower near the natural star shape to be a kind of super long, slow, the long con, getting towers up. But for now, there's a big problem. Demon Hunter's 5, and every peasant he kills gets him 12 experience closer to level 6. And he only needs 650 experience more. So, well, do the math.
Yep, that's true. The juicy peasant line, it looked so delicious there for a moment, but the Zeppelin was actually left behind, but gets back to safety just in time before the teleporting human player gets to destroy it again. So, as you said, level 6, slowly but surely coming into play, and we all know what a Metamorphosis Demon Hunter can do. One of the few abilities to boost someone with chaos damage that basically shreds everything.
Now, Kendric, I'm a little worried though for Starshaped. He's working on Dryads, he's working on
Me too, you know? Yeah, me too. I see.
That attack, what did it really do, huh? Fenda is still level 1.9. He could have done so much creeping, but instead he went for a few peasants.
And human tier 3 is so strong. If we ever get to that point where knights could come into play to provide a little bit of an additional front line, I like what Priest is doing there already, you know, keeping the Mauler alive, perhaps even considering buying a second one to provide that beefy front line for the mortar teams, for the riflemen. I really like the addition of the mortars too. If there's ever dryads or a large number of dryads around, microing these against the mortars when there's 2 or 3 mortars in the human army is not easy. It's really set easier than done.
Kendric, the towers, they're starting. We've got one finished, 180%, another 80%, another 20%, and we have a 5th one coming here as well. Panda has amazing mana items. Robe of Intelligence +6. We've got Greater Mana Pot, but he is still level 1. And while Priest is on the way, he should turn off his Frost Arrow, and I think he did now. He's going to take one more camp, and then he's going to attack. And, the Wisps see the towers now. This is problematic. What item did we get here? Wand of Mana Stealing on the Naga. And we see actually Starshaped flanking from the south. The mortars actually took a few shots at the entangled gold mine as well.
They've got enough range provided by the flying machine, who's cheekily granting vision over the river. So I'm not sure if he can position all the mortar teams in the right angle. But if that one goes down, because Starshaped probably doesn't pay a lot of attention. Never mind, proves me wrong. Starshaped with eagle eyes repairs the entangled gold mine. But it was a valiant effort here because there's so much stuff going on right now. Starshaped actually launching a counterattack into the unprotected main base of the human. So right now, Grubby, we're entering the stage of a base race. Perhaps losing an expansion, but dealing devastating economical damage into the human main base. And most importantly, once again, this is all juicy, valuable experience for the level 6 on the Demon Hunter, for additional levels on the Pandaren Brewmaster.
The farms are well positioned to keep out the bears, but the peasants are just being thrown to the wolves. I'm not sure why PriesT is letting his militia fight. They'll be torn to pieces. In the meantime, he is going to be killing this tree of life, but there's like 15 wisps to repair. It's not enough, by the way. We see the downpour attempt. The blizzard comes in. The mortars, it's enough. Okay, TP actually gets reimbursed when that happens. And we see a very slow counterattack here by Starshaped. He will kill the castle. The keep, that is.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. We have 65 food for the Night Elf, 68 for the human, and the human has a very well fortified position behind the expansion. It's not going to help him to take the base, though.
And that's the question, Grubby. Who can tear down a base faster? Well, there's a lot of normal damage and the Demon Hunter DPS available for the Night Elf. We've got mortars in the army composition of PriesT. Combine that with a blizzard for AoE damage there as well. I think Starshaped at this point needs to retreat. I think he needs to defend his base. He already lost his expansion, which is a pretty big deal. And here we go. The first big confrontation of this game. Ladies and gentlemen, the blizzard is hailing onto those frontline units of Starshaped. He's trying to maneuver. He's trying to micro those bears into the backline here to hit the riflemen. But that's easier said than done. There's a little bit of frontline left as well. Nice staffing out. The Pandaren with an anti-magic potion, trying to deal a little bit of AoE damage. But I think PriesT could actually hold this.
He's doing a lot of damage there against the Dryads, but they're being well microed. The Demon Hunter, though, seems unstoppable, and the Mortars now got to the front. We needed to see more kiting, probably, by PriesT. Great play by Starshaped, though, here. The Panda gets level 3 as well.
Yeah.
The Demon Hunter is 5.5, Panda is 3.
And he's got a whole lot of mana to work with. That big mana potion, the greater mana potion, is still in his possession. Needs to be careful, though. One more auto attack from the Archmage, and down he goes. The Archmage himself dangerously brought low. We see the Wand of Wind here doing a lot of work against the Demon Hunter. He was taken out of that fight temporarily. Level 6, baby. Metamorphosis is going to go down, and that could very well be single-handedly the death sentence against the human player. And the Archmage is DED.
The Archmage had a TP and invul on the heal scroll. He used the invul to get here, and he did not use the TP. He just died to an auto attack from the Demon Hunter, who is now level 6.4. This is a problem, and PriesT is down to 29 food. Starshaped has 44 food and 900 gold.
That is indeed a problem, Grubby. And there's no way in the world that PriesT at this point of the game can afford to rebuild his main base. He lacks the workers, he lacks the resources. So essentially what he's trying to do, he's trying to go back to tier 2 on his expansion there. So he's behind in units, hero levels, and tech. While Starshaped, of course, he lost his expansion, but he still got his burly Demon Hunter to carry the game single-handedly, potentially, and he still has his tech. So bears are going to continue to be produced. Same goes for Dryads, and very likely Starshaped, if he doesn't make any major mistakes, will also be able to reclaim his expansion slot.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a difficult position because of the towers, but overall, I feel like PriesT did an amazing job coming back after the failed all-in. Proving it was not an all-in, but overextended heavily into the Night Elf base, because the fight that they took, I mean, it's not one that he would have wanted to take. Look at the tower position. With 5 towers there on the bridge, what happens if PriesT takes the top right base? He creeps it with Archmage, gets level 4 Archmage, takes the top right. It's almost inaccessible with those towers on the bridge. He still has a deny position on the gold mine of the natural of Starshaped, while taking another that's more easily defended. And then he goes to like 2 base, maybe even retake his main base. he can go to like 3 base versus 1 or 3 versus 2. Instead, he takes a fight. He was only allowed to lose 0 fights at this point because the next fight gives Demon Hunter 6, and that's what he's having to deal with now. This is crazy.
It's a lot of damage coming through here. Those poor peasants getting massacred once again. The metamorphosis, of course, cannot be stopped. It can't be dispelled, unfortunately. So he's gonna have to deal with it. You know, he just needs to deal with it. But the Archmage damage is still real. The slowed bears are valuable, good target. The Demon Hunter is actually forced to TP, gets 1 bear just for good measure. But I really like the point you brought up, Grubby. Instead of going all in, or going all in for the second time in that game, basically, just take the top right expansion. You know, you've got the towers there. It makes it extremely predictable from where the Night Elf could attack. You could have actually put that location with more towers, perhaps. Yep. Yeah,
you could place more towers, or you could just like put a scout in the middle of the map so that they have to go all the way U-shape to the top right. And yeah. Anyway, let's see. Is there a TP on the side of Starshaped? No. Does he have enough gold? Not yet. Oh my god, he's not mining right now. He's 4 gold short from a TP. He would need to sell one of his items to TP to the Tree of Life. This decision took him too long, and he actually decided to let it go, so he is officially not mining. We have a Tree of Eternity now walking to the natural. Yep. Starshaped says, if I ever want to get this, I need to get rid of these towers. And he does just that. So we're in a 1 base. Well, actually, it's 2 peasants mining for PriesT out of the 4 that he owns. So we have a 0.4 versus 0 base economy right now.
Crazy. That, of course, is the beauty of Night Elf. One of their greatest strengths, that they can use their main base at any given point in time to go over and secure and establish an expansion. So I like that move by Starshaped. He made the best out of this poor situation for him, losing the expansion, but knowing that the human player was at the exact opposite side of the map, he tried to get rid of those pesky towers to establish another foothold and his natural expansion. And now, you know, the Pandaren is a little bit in trouble. There's no protection here. The Demon Hunter has no staff available, only a tally staff. He could transfer that, of course. And, okay, there's an invul now. Nicely done. And, of course, Rejuvenation, too. Yep, there we go.
Rejuvenation, is there going to be a Dispel? He does have Dispel. Is he going to hit it? Archmage takes a lot of damage. There's the heal scroll. Dispel for the Drunken Haze removal as well. Great job.
Yeah.
Rifleman goes down. Second Rifleman falling. Bear gets staffed out.
Yep, and I think if with a little bit of stutter stepping back, you know, a little bit of kiting, this could very well be a fight perhaps to salvage for the human, but more and more targets are going down from the Drunken Haze Fire Breath combo. The slows were too real. It was a good moment potentially to fight for PriesT because he knew Metamorphosis was likely still on cooldown, so you really got to use that small time window in between. But yeah, overall, the Night Elf army, especially the heroes now, are getting too oppressive, I think, for PriesT to still be able to cope with it.
Yep, that's true, and it looks like slowly Starshaped has fended off threat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 13, and is now worrying, okay, what's threat 14 going to be? Because he's been on the ropes, but he's balanced himself really, really well. He's around 50 food, he's finally mining again, and he's playing it safe, you know. He's like, alright, you're in your base, still too afraid to creep the top right. He figures if I overextend just a bit and I get caught without a TP, that could just be the end. And I've been recovering so well. That's so interesting that he sees human in his own former main and still doesn't take the top right, which is a big, big prize, just because he wonders, will I be too late to get out from here? Will I get caught on the bridge? That's how safe Starshaped is playing right now.
Yeah, he's also trying to get some sort of stable income back. You know, the Tree of Eternity is now finally entangled in mining gold. So I really like the patient play by Starshaped. He's basically got nothing to lose. There's not that many valuable creep spots left available, so he doesn't really have to worry about, you know, experience getting out of control for the human player. And even if the human heroes were in the high-level vicinity, you know, an Archmage level 6, I mean, that's still a long way to go. And the Naga level 6, as strong as the hero is, it's not the greatest of ultis available for her.
Yeah, she's just gonna get triple forked lightning or triple frost arrow. Yeah. But of course, you can't creep past level 5, so the only improvement that PriesT can do right now is to get his Archmage from 4.2 to 5.0. There is a camp. There's actually a lot of camps left on the map. We see Starshaped finally getting level 4 in the top right. And let's see what item he gets from the Enforcer. In the meantime, we have Naga creeping alongside the Archmage, so he actually chooses for safety. What did he get?
You get a Mana Stone. That is probably one of the best items he could have hoped for. He used the Greater Mana earlier, but a Mana Stone even better because it also adds that passive mana regen. So this Pandaren, if well protected, if he gets a good angle, can really devastate the dreams and hopes of PriesT.
That's true. In the meantime, PriesT did get a cool item as well. He got the Greater Healing Potion. Is afraid to take the Mercenary Camp, which would have been able to give him a really cool item as well. For example, Devotion Aura, True Shield Aura would have been great. Didn't get it though. And I really want to point out the fact that the Naga Sea Witch accompanied the Archmage on the creeping of that pretty big spot. Means that Archmage lost half of his potential experience that he could have gotten. He got blocked by Naga's level 5 hard cap on creeping. So Archmage won't be level 5 anytime soon. The next time they fight, it's going to be Metamorphosis again on Demon Hunter, baby.
Oh, I know chat wants to see it. I know we guys want to see it, so super excited. By the way, PriesT now maxed out at 48 out of 48 food. Cannot really afford more units at this point. He's going to have to fight for bare survival here. Let's see. Starshaped also not crossing the 50 food line, so both still in good upkeep.
Now we see Starshaped breaking with that, going to 57 food, coming with the Troll Berserker, with a Bear as well. The fight starts. Nice micro there with the Spellbreaker and the slow. Forced to use the Staff of Teleportation immediately. Pretty nice.
I gotta give a lot of kudos to PriesT for using the Archmage's Blizzard so well. He sniped a Zeppelin blindly earlier with that. I think he's using it constantly into the Bears quite nicely. And as good as the Demon Hunter is, he can't evade spells with his E passive. So, you know, a couple of good hitting Blizzards here and there. And if you catch the Demon Hunter off guard, that could be a big problem.
Here we go with the Drunken Breath, the Drunken Haze and Fire Breath. Great position here, courtesy of the Lumber Mill, which is creating an artificial choke. It's normally fantastic for the Naga and the Archmage, Blizzard, the Fork, but there is a Metamorphosis Demon Hunter. An Archmage Greater Healing Potion will get used. That was close.
So close. The Demon Hunter now level 7, baby. The Invis micro is cute there. Basically prevents the hero from getting sniped and focused anymore. But so many human units are lying dead in the grass. Level 6 is nowhere near. You can actually see, I don't think the Naga made a single experience step closer towards that level 6. Not that it even matters. I think at this point, the Demon Hunter once again showing while he is one of the biggest carries in Warcraft 3. Completely untouched. Mana burns his way to victory here. They get the Archmage. No more money left to recover from this, and PriesT has to tap out again, ladies and gentlemen. 2-0 lead now for a champion Starshaped. But man, do we have to give a lot of credit over to PriesT because he nearly made the impossible possible. That was a fantastic comeback attempt after a failed tower rush.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't give him much chances after that, but all the traps, the cute micro moves he did here, they got him back in a game that should have been kind of over. Great plays by him. Not always the best decision, but how difficult it is to make those decisions when you don't have full information and when you're playing against such a formidable opponent as Starshaped. That was a really solid game overall. PriesT made it pretty darn close, but in the end, Starshaped pulled through, and we'll give it 2-0. That doesn't do justice to how close this game was.
Yeah, 100%. That was great. That was a really solid attempt there by PriesT. I got a little worried after game 1, seeing how he got dismantled so handsomely by Starshaped, but this game gave me a lot of confidence that we could actually go over into a game 4, potentially 5. You know, and I really liked the nice take of PriesT here to say, you know what, we're not going to play necessarily super standard. We're going to try to go for something cheeky, something aggressive, and it almost worked. It almost worked out.
Yep, exactly. Well, we're going to take a short breather there, maybe give PriesT a chance to reverse the momentum as well. We'll be back momentarily. Kendric and I will take you through the action of game number 3 right after this.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're here for more Warcraft 3 Fight Night action here in Heroes Hearth. We already saw an explosive, spicy game number 2 between PriesT, the human challenger, and Starshaped, who looked so good when it came to defending his ongoing champion title. Now, game 1 was a little bit of a beating for our young challenger, but game 2, Grubby, was a much different story.
Yep. We saw him taking the reins, PriesT, going with a premeditated strategy that was not based on being reactive. And he mostly, I don't know if I want to say he did better with it or worse, because the early game was like kind of okay on Amazonia. He lost because he made mistakes. Like his footmen were well preserved. He got 2 wisps. Actually, the early game was better, arguably, in game 1, but he got trashed harder because of mid-game big losses and because it's such a small map. This was a big map. I mean, he was more decisive, but it actually went awfully, the Tower Rush. We got a little confused with the Twitch outage there, but mostly he made 2 towers that got cancelled immediately. So that didn't work out for him, and he wasn't able to stop the Demon Hunter from getting level 2. What I would like to see this game, and we don't always get what we want, just like Christmas when I was a kid. But what I would like to see is just standard Archmage Naga play and just creep more. Just defend and creep more, because do a bit of scouting for expansions, but just creep. Because every time he's had an Archmage firing at a Demon Hunter that wasn't level 6, it's been going really well for him. Just play standard.
Great. When was the first time you found out that Santa wasn't real?
He isn't!
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
No, I don't remember for myself. Shall I? Did we really? Okay. I don't remember for myself, but I still remember when my brother found out.
Yeah.
And he didn't like it. Like he was like,
no.
"So you've been lying to me."
You know, in Germany we have like a national variation of Santa, which is called. You could probably literally translate it to the Christ child, which is basically like Jesus or an angel or something like that. And you had the chance to send a letter to the Christ child, you know. And then the post office had a dedicated section that would answer those letters to the young children, you know, wishing for the coolest gifts and stuff like that. And I was crushed hard when someone at school told me that this was not real.
Oh.
7-year-old Kendric.
Did you still write in, though, and get your free gifts?
I never got my Super Nintendo.
Oh.
So it's probably for the better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because now you're with PC. We would have never met if you were a Nintendo junkie.
Maybe I would have never enjoyed the goodness of Warcraft if I had become a consolero, you know, with the Super Nintendo and stuff.
You'd be a weeb, like Square Enix and Final Fantasy and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I still like Final Fantasy. That's not fair. That's a pretty good series. Which is going to get a remake too. Was announced at E3. Hypoo.
Yeah, Collection of Mana as well on the Switch. Pretty cool.
True.
We're still waiting for a player, by the way. We're not just holding you guys hostage. We're waiting for one of the players. But sorry, what were you saying? What was
your highlight on this year's E3? You had anything that left you flabbergasted with your mouth wide open?
It wasn't E3, but it was right before E3. I thought that Stadia thing was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The Stadia, the cloud games. I ordered my controller.
It's really neat, especially if you don't have to worry about a cap on your data.
Yeah. No, I thought that was pretty cool. In terms of E3, you know, most of those games I didn't play them. Like basically when I was 16, a long time ago, I didn't really play many other games. And we never had a console in our household, so I didn't really get to play Zelda or what do you call Zelda, Final Fantasy. Never touched them. Never knew anyone that played it either. Weird, right? Because on Twitch, obviously, you get vilified if you admit to that.
Yeah. Well, I've never played Final Fantasy 7 before, so that's a great moment for me to also catch on it. I started with the 8th instance of the series. It's so crazy when you think about it. Like, there's so many classic game series that sometimes you just haven't really played. Yeah. At least we all played Warcraft 1 and 2, right? Right?
No, I didn't play Warcraft 1.
Okay.
I
remember
I played
I remember
Starcraft,
getting that in a PC magazine on a CD-ROM. That was good.
Oh, dude, I love those magazines. They had like the discs with the free games, the shareware.
Demos.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to demos? I think at this point there's only certain games sometimes that offer you a demo to be
We
downloaded.
still have demos.
Sorry?
Every free-to-play game these days is a demo.
That's
you
true.
can play until
it's
you
an
hit
ongoing
the
demo.
until every time you hit the paywall, either in terms of skill progression or access
early
to
access
content. Yeah,
all that stuff. All right, guys. Priest has joined the lobby, so we can finally move on and get the ball rolling again on Twisted Meadows. Is going to be our map number 3. The largest map we've got available in the competitive map pool these days. Creeping is the name of the game. That usually benefits the Night Elf if he goes Demon Hunter quite a bit.
Yeah, unless you don't want to creep. Like if you just want to rush, that's okay too. It is allowed. But if you do want to creep, this is the map for you because there's so many of them. Let's look at the positioning. Okay, this is the worst positioning for Starshaped, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, second worst. I guess cross map is the best for human. But maybe this is the best for human because when you look at humans' key creep camps, they are the middle right, the Goblin Laboratory, which is close to him, obviously, and far from the Night Elf, relatively speaking. And the bottom right, there's a gold mine, which can be said to be humans' natural, and that's also pretty far away from the Elf. And what's more, Elf can only really walk there via the middle of the map, because if he walks past the human side of the map, he takes him really close and he gets easily spotted by the human. So overall, this is a position that offers human a lot of control.
Yeah.
And he can also easily attack any would-be Ancient of War creeping attempts by Starshaped on the mercenary camp or on the Goblin Laboratory. He has good access points.
I just looked into our preview, to get the footage from Kagekiri, our lovely observer. And Grubby, I want to hear your first impression when you take look at Kagekiri's mini map and you take a look at the very bottom button.
The bottom. Oh, formations.
Formation, get it out of here.
But you can't turn it off once you're an observer. I don't know if you can turn it off. Maybe.
Maybe you can. Okay, in that case, it's not his fault. Okay.
And also, it doesn't matter once. But it's a trigger. It's an OCD trigger for players.
It triggered me immediately, so I had to.
Yeah. No,
Mine is deactivated, by the way.
What?
I can deactivate it if I click on it.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, then he's deliberately taunting you for calling him out. No, he tried to click it, I saw. Maybe he can't. You can. Anyway, more importantly, the build order for Starshaped constituted a Moonwell into an altar, into a Hunter's Hall, and Ancient of War. So this is going to be Tavern Hero with Huntresses. We don't know what's going to happen next yet. But there's a few options here. I would say Beastmaster is the most likely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? He doesn't really care, Priest. He's just going to do an Archmage Tower Rush. He has peasant production, started to Lumber Mill, and just goes right away. It is the Beastmaster with the Quill Beast. He's going to cancel the Ancient of War. This is that good positioning I was talking about.
Wow.
He has access to this Ancient of War. It's going to get cancelled. Panic new Ancient of War by Starshaped in the main base, which is only 25% of the way there.
That's true.
He brings back the Militia. He's not tower rushing? Okay, there we go. That was weird.
There we go. The militias are still with the human army, and this is where it's getting really dicey. I love the sneaky move by Starshaped, though, who's currently only rebuilding one Ancient of War in the main base, or so the human could think, because the Hunter's Hall is hidden at the top border of the map. So maybe at this point Priest is expecting archers, but maybe at some point there's going to be Huntresses coming out as well, which are so much more sturdy against the early footmen. Oh, they're okay. I thought there was a body blocks around, but
and the Quill Beast was his own, but there would have been one traitorous Quill Beast if he closed this around and he's like not moving. But anyway, the 3 towers are coming up. This is Guard Tower 1, 2, and 3. 3 Quill Pigs are coming in, and the Archmage and the Footmen are taking out the first one. They're taking out the second one. And looks like this is not going to be an interrupt. And Starshaped only has one choice here. Ancient Protectors, but he hasn't made any.
He hasn't made any. The Hunter's Hall is there, so He could actually go for one, and now he's starting to build one, Grubby. As if he could listen to the stream, he immediately goes for it. There we go, and that's going to be his only potential saving grace. He's carefully placing it out of sight of the human because it's nighttime now, and also, of course, outside of the range of the towers. So if he just buys a little bit more time, don't let the Beastmaster get surrounded, though. Speaking of which, no, he's actually used to force and TP scroll here. Is it going to be close enough to the Moonrail, or can he be sniped here? No, he gets the saving grace here, gets a little bit of health and mana back, but this is not his base anymore. The human is now officially controlling it, and there's no way back in.
This base is now human, that Sheffy. In the meantime, Ancient Protector 90% of the way done, and Priest hasn't checked for it. But what can one AP do against such reckless tower rushing?
Yeah. The peasants are also still alive, so they could actually just build new ones a little bit closer there as well. There's still 1, 2, 3, 4 footmen available as well. Shield upgrade I don't think was done because at this point it's all about repumping or just pumping more units out. The Quillbeast is trying its best to delay this one tower that's currently being built. He gets it done and destroyed for now. More archers coming into the fray as they're less vulnerable to the tower damage than Huntresses were.
Yeah, he killed one archer. He's keeping some of the footmen alive. We've got 4 towers, 2 finished, 2 producing. More peasants come in. 6 peasants on auto repair, and the Tree of Life is dying. Let's take stock of what Starshaped has on other parts of the map. He's still got the Hunter's Hall. He's making a second Ancient Protector, and he's going to uproot one. Walk it towards the towers maybe and try to stake out a position here. But ultimately, where this is going to go is that Starshaped would need to defend outside of range of these towers, while taking an expansion on the middle left of the map. That's how you get out of these situations. This Tree of Life is on a timer, so he would need to save up gold to expand somewhere else. However, he's making archers and APs, and he doesn't have enough gold right now for a new Tree of Life. And now he pulled all the wisps from the tree. Where's this going? He's going to try to go for a full bust. He will not give up this position. This Tree of Life forfeit, he says? No way, Jose.
Yep, trying to hold this base at all costs, but it's going to be pretty hard at this point. There's no more gold income. Now he's transferring wisps over from the trees to basically repair the Tree of Life, which is super important. If that one falls, the game is close to being over. Now, look at Priest's position, though. He has 3 towers, still a couple of units left, but they're all hurt. The Arcane Vault is here now. He needs to go for a heal immediately. The Archmage, I think he's trapped. He's trying to retreat.
He's gonna die.
He's gonna die, and the hero for the human player has fallen. This was a big step to recovering here for Starshaped. No more hero. That one is going to take a while. It's getting revived immediately at the altar. And how long, without the Archmage, without the Water Ellies, can he hold the towers in place?
And the footmen finally get defend upgrades. 1 AP is in range of the towers. There's only 4 wisps mining now. Starship is down to 150 gold. The footmen did never get the regeneration scroll because Archmage died. And he's just like... Oh, how far is daylight? Oh, just 1 hour of game time away. Daylight means no more Moonwell regeneration, no more Archer regen, no more Archer hiding.
So level 2 for the Beastmaster, Grubby. Are we going to see a Misha? Are we going to see a Bear for additional tanking, for a little extra damage? Because the Hawk at level 1 does not have access to any damage whatsoever. We see the 2 Ancient Protectors still looking very healthy there. And the range is actually large enough right now to hit units, to hit some of the towers and the peasants there as well. Even a Glaive Thrower has made it into the mix of the Night Elven army. And with that, siege, range, and damage is available. And those towers are going to fall one after the other.
And he made it nighttime again with the Moonstone. Very valuable because his archers can hide. There's only 2 towers left. Tree is very low though. 300 life. True. 250. 200 and rising. Wisps are repairing once again.
Yeah, I mean, as many units and heroes as Priest has lost in terms of income, he's mining all the time. He's getting perfect, almost perfect lumber there as well. Even has a lumber mill in his base too. So as long as he can hold this position and forces constant repairing, constant attention from the Night Elf economy onto this, I think he's still doing fine.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking maybe Archmage should take Blizzard second, because then he could Blizzard the Wisp. But he will take Brilliance, Water Elementals from time to time. Oh, lovely Glaive Thrower shot there on the footman. He saw them standing there, turning off the regeneration scroll effect for them. Regen scroll will heal 225 life over 45 seconds, and they'd only be getting healing for about 10. So he just denied something like 160 points of healing from 3 footmen with a single shot. Great job.
Grubby, we're down to one guard tower. This human onslaught is now almost reduced to units and heroes only. And I think Starshaped has done a really good job, as you said, canceling the regeneration, hiding the units, hiding the Beastmaster, and just letting the APs do all the dirty work. And with this, officially, the hold has been made, and PriesT, just like in game number 2, has to retreat for now after a solidly looking tower rush attempt in the early game. Now he's probably going to have to do something else with it. His hero level, comparison looks a little bit stronger than last time, though. The Demon Hunter is not really a factor, hasn't been picked yet, and hero levels on the main heroes are, 2 to 2.3 or something, and the Beastmaster is not really known to be scaling super well into the late game, so I don't think he has a timer on him like last game where the Demon Hunter would at some point get out of control.
Yeah, that's true, and as cool as Stampede is, Mana Burn is really something else to deal with. I agree with you, this is still a better situation for PriesT than he had previously. And the way that this generally goes, a Beastmaster play, these tier 1 units, they turn out to be really inefficient against what a human can make. So I hate to see people walk around with that many footmen, so low health, and not going for a regen scroll. But yeah, generally the Night Elf doesn't have efficiency, so he needs numbers. So we see that Tree of Life coming out on the middle left of the map.
That is true.
Expansion is going to be the key here, but this Moonwell, which was such a help to build it so far out of base, is now a liability and is getting attacked. In the meantime, the creeps actually nearly took down the Glaive Thrower.
Yeah, and that one target fire, that one target kill on an archer secured level 3, which means we have water elementals level 2 now against, a slowly increasing number of huntresses. That's going to be a big aid. And as you said, Grubby, this Night Elf expansion is basically his greatest hope of establishing that all-deciding, game-deciding, series potentially deciding match point here. Now look at how cheeky PriesT is. He's trying with the help of these strong water elementals right now to perhaps finish the Rock Golem to snatch away a big chunk of experience and get a sexy little item here. He successfully is going to take it here right now.
Yeah, that's sick. He gets the Forest Troll Berserker as well. Leaves the Wand of Mana Steel for now. Will he turn on the heal scroll before many of his footmen die?
Needs to use it now.
Needs to use it now. Hasn't yet. Still hasn't used it, but there was no target firing on that low footman. Now we see Huntress is going in. Going for the footman heal scroll right at the last second. Perfect timing. Extracting maximum damage on the Night Elf units while not losing a single footman. Very nicely done by PriesT. He finishes up the camp. He's getting his first rifles. And Mountain King is being produced. It looks so good for PriesT right now. I'd be so surprised if in 5 minutes or 10 minutes from now we're saying GG well played 3-0. That would just blow my brains. That's how good it looks for PriesT right now. This should be the 2-1 normally, but Starshaped has been availing himself so heroically.
Yeah, Starshaped is a pretty large caliber of a player here to really beat, even if it does look so good here. Now, focus fire on the Troll Berserker, trying to get rid of all that piercing damage if he can. Loses a couple of Huntresses in return, though, which is not great. But here goes level 3 for the Beastmaster, finally, for Starshaped. That's pretty huge. But the defend upgrade for the footies, it's so huge against all those archers. And Starshaped was forced to go for a lot of archers because of that tower rush. So it all comes into play right now. Tries to go for a body block and a surround against the Beastmaster. But Starshaped can save that one for now. But level 4 for the Archmage, who found a Sobi Mask, by the way. Sobi Mask, super sick. Like, that mana regen, especially for the incoming Mountain King, which is just waddling over his way, is going to be so huge.
Yeah, it's really sick. Even Water Elementals are the MVPs right now.
Yeah, so
it's
good.
So sick. It was so funny, Starshaped actually went to 850 gold. You know why? Because choice paralysis. When all choices are equally horrible, you might as well not make one, I guess, or so he thought.
Yeah.
Because archers, hunters, they don't cut it here, and he has nothing else he could possibly make. Okay, glaive throwers. But yeah, PriesT is going in for the juggler to end this clown fiesta. We have a Beastmaster 3.5, Archmage is 4. He's pushing in with footmen. Forgot to turn on defend as they chased the glaive throwers, so he did lose those. But Moonwell after Moonwell is falling.
Yeah, and of course now Starshaped is down to 20 food, basically. He lost the majority of his army in the previous skirmish. And as you said, he's hard countered right now. If he goes for archers, for more archers as it is, there's going to be 2 heroes on the human. There's going to be still a decent number of foodies left. If he goes huntress as well, there's piercing damage now from water alleys, from the troll berserker, and from the riflemen that are currently trickling in there as well. So I think our human player, the challenger with a sign of life, could take this game right now. There's only one glaive thrower hiding behind these 2 APs, and that's it. And a Beastmaster who doesn't even think about defending this anymore. He's trying to expand here. In this sticky situation, in this case of an emergency, he's like, I might lose more buildings in my main, so maybe I can at least, expand here, build up another foothold, but really, that is looking very, very dire for him now.
Yeah, that's very late now, and I think it goes back, besides the advantage Priest may have accrued from the early game, it goes back to the situation where Starshaped tried to do a proxy Tree of Life while creeping Mercamp, instead of creeping the gold mine and then plopping down the tree, which would require no further extra cooperation from his army to get the expansion up. That would have been an effortless expansion, but now when he got creep checked on the Mercamp, that became very fateful in a bad way for him. Because otherwise he could have maybe done some base trading while trying to leverage the fast expand. With Priest taking exactly that which he put everything in, the Mercamp, he just got to a losing situation. Master Wisp detonate also on the Beastmaster, but he wants to be removing those water elementals. He did, good job. But here come the militia. And with rifles and Priest, it looks phenomenal for Priest there. No surround on the Beastmaster, but this is not required from the looks of it.
Yeah, there's no more Moonwells left available in the base of the Night Elf. He's supply blocked right now. Actually, not anymore because he lost more units to make space for that. And the Wisps, of course, they're detonating themselves in a heroic sacrifice. Another Stormbolt coming through here onto the Beastmaster. And with a couple of hits, perhaps we're going to see the main first hero of the Night Elf fall. He's just running for his life. But of course, with a bash or another Stormbolt or just some blocking here, that should be a goner. And Priest, if that one falls, we'll have it in the back. Down he goes. The Archmage is getting the victory into the hands of the human. Starship may not tap out just yet. Perhaps he's banking on the expansion down in the bottom left. But really, I think this is going to be over. And there we go. GG well played. 2-1, ladies and gentlemen. We got ourselves a series.
GG well played. Priest takes the third map. 2-1 now. He took Twisted Meadows. I brought it up at the start that the position was favorable for Priest. That doesn't mean that Starshape must play a build that plays into that, but he did. Making his first Ancient of 4 at the Mercamp, when it's a Huntress Ancient of 4 and not a Archer Ancient of 4. Huntress Ancient of 4s are a lot slower, so they're more cancelable, because you're waiting for 160 lumber to make the Huntress Hall and the Ancient of 4 at the same time. Huntress Hall is not required for archers, so Ancient of 4 is a lot quicker. So making a Huntress Ancient of Hall at a war at the Mercamp is very greedy in a crazy way, while also getting a Tavern Hero, which is slower than an Altar Hero when it's your first one. This is a amalgamation of greedy choices on the worst possible position, which led to his demise. 2-1.
Yeah. But hey, we're not going to complain. The humans are stabilizing in our first appearance here on the fight night, so that's great. We're going to game number 4, which is going to be played out on Last Refuge.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, pretty good. And if we were to go for a game number 5, let's double check real quick with the vetoes. That would be
Concealed, maybe?
Yep. No, Conceal was banned too.
Okay.
Twisted Meadows, Terenas, Northern Isles. Northern Isles. There we go.
Northern Isles.
Oh, that's actually the one I should have opened. So
is that the one they want now?
Yeah. That is. We're gonna go to Northern Isles. There we go.
Okay.
Good thing I double checked.
All right. Northern Isles is going to be our 4th map. It's a long map. It's long like Terenas Stand, but without as much movement blockers. So it feels slightly less long than Terenas Stand. When it comes to the action on the map, Terenas Stand hides a lot of action in the corners and behind bridges and rivers, which makes it feel very defensive. But Northern Isles has a lot of things in the center or semi-center. So there is a bigger heat map in the middle of the map than on Terenas Stand. To understand, the middle is the least interesting part. So where you see splitting of the map on Terenas, you take your corner, I take mine. On Northern Isles, there is a lot of action, despite its size.
There we go. What I really like about Northern Isles personally, in terms of map design and map layout, is that we have so much action in the middle of the map going on. You know, with the two shops right next to one another, in almost symmetric positions. So that's really cool. Thank you, by the way, all so much for showing up, for following the channel, for contributing by donating some bits, spreading the word as well. I think it's safe to say that Grubby and I and the whole crew at Heroes Hearth are enjoying ourselves, and we couldn't ask for a better audience. So thank you very much for tuning in. And if you want to see certain players, for example, here on the fight night, feel always free to tweet at us, either to Grubby or myself, or to Heroes Hearth. We're definitely trying to expand our challenger pool a little bit. And since there aren't really, you know, any comparable formats, I think the chances are pretty good to get more European players in there, perhaps. And one day, maybe I would like to see an Asian duel, or some Chinese players, some Korean players coming into the fray as well. Who knows? A man can dream.
Would be very cool. We'll see if the technology is there yet. In the meantime, we still have Europe and NA competing in a really good way. There's still many players that have already applied that would like to participate. We'll see who is going to take the new mysterious challenger on. I don't know anything yet. Do you know something?
No, actually, I'm completely blindfolded myself. We only had PriesT, and before that we had Kiwikaki and Starshaped, you know, kind of like looming on the horizon. But after that, I'm completely blind. I don't know anything about it. So could be anyone's challenge.
All right. All right. Well, players are in. Ready.
Hey, everybody's ready. Waiting for PriesT. There we go. Good. So Northern Isles, here we go, baby. Game number 4. This could be either match point for Starshaped if he wins that one, or we could go into an all-deciding game number 5, which of course would be a very favorable option. Just go for a mini grub there.
I accidentally pressed the button on my stream deck because I was like, we're going in game. Mini grub.
I know that happens to me sometimes when I play a game of Heroes, and I mean offline, not on stream, and I win a game or the game is over, I automatically press my GG button. And I just hear the GG for myself. It never happens.
And then like in Kendric's house, in all the empty recesses of the room, there's like GG echoing, and you're like, am I talking to myself now? Am I pressing buttons to myself? But I'll tell you what, I would totally have buttons for all kinds of things to talk.
All right, here we are in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Northern Isles, we see Starshaped with a normal build order this time. No neutral hero, no Beastmaster shenanigans of any sort. On the opposing side, we see PriesT as well in the bottom left, going for a normal altar build. So we should be back to the Archmage train. He was saying it himself during the interview that he feels like, similarly to the Undeads, humans are almost set in stone sometimes, but that they're so dependent on the Archmage. Most importantly, on the Brilliance aura, of course, with units, casters, other heroes being so dependent on them. So no surprises here.
I mean, it seems like a cool thing to go for like a full dwarven army, Mountain King, and then riflemen and mortars and griffins. And although they do have synergy for each other and they cover for each other's armor and damage weaknesses, and they may actually work if you get there in the very late game, there's just no way to naturally, in a one-on-one competitive game, build up an army of MK rifles, mortars, and griffins without getting punished in one of the very many advantages that you could have. Lack of expansions, lack of creeping, lack of good early trades, and so on and so forth. So, indeed, the Archmage is integral to their play. You see now PriesT going with 1 Footman Scout, using 5 Militia and a Footman, going for the Ogre Mage level 5. On the other side, likewise, Starshaped with the Ancient of War, 2 Wisp Repair, going for the Ogre Mage as well. What item shall he get? It's going to be Scroll the Beast, pretty cool.
Yep. Could be pretty good indeed. So, the Scroll of the Beast, of course, really nice if you use it early on before the PriesT hit. Otherwise, it's a rather useless item. So let's see when the timing is going to be for that one. We see a big invul coming in, a greater invul for You know, the Archmage, always good for that. Could be used on himself, could be used for a more fragile second hero. So definitely a nice item to pick up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's probably the second worst that he could get. Wand of Mana Steel being the worst in a matchup against Demon Hunter. Greater Invul is nice, but ultimately it's much better to heal the Archmage if it takes a lot of damage than to block temporarily. Greater Invul is usually great for cleansing negative status effects simultaneously as protecting the hero. That's really not usually a big thing on the Archmage against Demon Hunter. Now, Starshaped knows this is an expansion because of the slow speed of PriesT tech. By the way, there is no tech, so that's pretty slow. He can't be much slower than that. He knows this is an expansion from his experience and from his scouting. So he actually plopped down a Hunter's Hall instead of flopping down a Tree of Life or expanding. But the weird thing is, no second insta-4, and he just lost an Archer to the Footman there.
So, do you think this is because of PriesT's aggressive playstyle? Is he maybe a little too afraid to commit to an expansion here? Oh, the Demon Hunter is locked in there as well. That is basically a surround. At this time, there is... What? Why? That wasn't needed. Did he really expect that there was this much damage from one Demon Hunter on the Archmage? He's even green. He wasn't even yellow or red.
I think he's like, Demon Hunter level 6.
He's got 2 rings on him. 7 extra armor.
Yeah, he's got 11 armor. He's got damage reduction 39%. He couldn't have died if he tried. If he focused his own Archmage with all his Footmen, he wouldn't have died. So that was weird. I mean, okay, we have Starshaped. He lost an Archer, maybe a Wisp or something to the Footman. And we have an expansion coming up, but there's a few mistakes by PriesT. The Greater Invul is 1. 2, giving Demon Hunter a straight path to his expansion in absence of the Archmage and Footman. And 3, the position of the Town Hall is atrocious, because if you build it next to the trees, you can cycle your peasants past the tree line and the Town Hall line to save them either indefinitely or for 5 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
Now they're all exposed. Furthermore, if he ever starts mining lumber from this location, it is the very furthest from the trees it could possibly be, so it's bad economy. He's losing peasant without any surround possibility because he's not next to the trees. So as good as the start of he had, he's trying very hard to lose his lead.
Oh boy, that's 4 peasants. I think it's 4 peasants that have just died. Let's count the little tiny skeletons here. I think it might have actually been more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, I think.
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Wow.
7 now. And you know what? He's mining with 6 peasants in gold this entire time. So that's 1 peasant. Totally not working either.
That's the nerves, Grubby. That could be the nerves. PriesT knows that there's everything on the line, and with a couple of smaller mistakes, which eventually will add up to one big failure, this could be what costs him the game. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's still an opportunity for him to hold this, but 2 Hunters is now harassing once again, trying to go for the Scout Tower, which is soon going to be an Arcane Tower. Can he defend this just a little bit longer? Another peasant joins his dead cousins in the grave.
And you know what's cool? Starshaped, with showing himself there again, being aggressive, he actually completely Lightning Rod deflects away the attention of his expansion, which would have been cancelable. Demon Hunter's looking to hire a Tavern Hero. What's it going to be? Is it going to be Pit Lord, Panda, Naga? Probably the Naga. Yeah, the Tree of Life could have been cancelled by PriesT, but he gets pulled back once again. Finally comes out with the Guard Tower. Still 6 peasants in gold.
Wow.
5 on lumber in the main. Looks like we are... Yeah, Twitch is failing again. We are back now.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome back, everyone. A little bit of a Twitch hiccup. A very scary moment without your 2 favorite casters, but here you are again. The Matrix has been reinstated. And let us take you back to the casting of this game. The Panda didn't do much. He's value playing with it. The Footman scouted the Tree of Life, so PriesT knows. And he's going to the laboratory, which means we could see some Zeppelin shenanigans. There is enough resources to tech, but he decides not to do so. Instead, he hires the Zeppelin and a Shredder, so he's still not going to tier 2.
Yeah.
It's a very... Oh, this could be a mana burn steal, by the way. This is this creep has mana that could work against PriesT. Let's see who gets it.
Let's see. The Furbolt tracker. Is that going to be? No. He gets the claws. He gets the experience as well, which is very important for the Archmage here. He also can maybe deal some heavy damage onto Starshaped. Let's see. Boots ready for a Priest? Nope. Night Elf has the boots, so the Demon Hunter is safe and sound. Otherwise, that could have gotten a little bit dicey here. But yeah, you're right, Grubby. So many additional neutral units were purchased here on the side of Priest. The Shredder will come in handily for sure, because we mentioned how low he was on lumber. If we take a look at it, 37 right now. But the tier 2 tech is finally on the way. And if he drags it out just long enough, fortifies his expansion a little bit more, I think this is still a game that Priest can swing around. Because right now, the momentum is definitely on the Night Elf side.
Yeah, that's true. He's got Dryads, Abolish, Bears, and tier 3 coming along. And after the whole skirmish with the Demon Hunter, that's when Priest pressed upgrade Town Hall to keep. So that's how long that's still going to take. He's still got 6 peasants in his main gold mine. Overall, very distraught and chaotic game for Priest. He's got a blacksmith, but he's not using it. So, okay, he is. My bad. He's making rifles, but not upgrading yet. And ultimately, if you're on tier 1.2, like he is, why not just upgrade everything at the blacksmith? Because there's no other place to put your gold in anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what I would have loved to see, but he's not working on that yet. Now we go, Ironforged Swords. This means he's either going for knights and wanting them to be ready with 2/2 upgrades once he gets to tier 3, or what's far more likely, mass spellbreakers. And you probably would feel that tier 3 is too far out of reach, because he's teched so slowly, and he knows he's probably up against bears. So breakers can actually do very well there. And going for breaker masscaster forces Fairy Dragon or Chimera by the Night Elf.
And I was going to say, Grubby, look at Starshaped. He's already pre-producing the Ancient of Wind, blindly anticipating that perhaps Priest was going to try something along those lines. So if we're going to see Chimeras into Knights potentially, that would be pretty sweet.
I think it's most likely Fairy Dragons. Oh, is he going to die with the Zeppelin over the woods? No, it's just a Staff of Teleport.
Okay.
I think it's most likely going to be Fairy Dragons versus Breaker Caster. He probably put Priest on the same thing. Your tech is late. You're going to mass Triple Sanctum with 1 Workshop. This is kind of an old school human build. He is mixing in Riflemen, which people didn't used to do, but they're so good now.
Right.
So, few rifles, mortars, double or triple sanctum, 2/2 breakers. And then usually you either do a slow tower push, but Northern Isles doesn't allow faraway towers anywhere because of all the water. So you can't really tower from afar like you might on an Echo or a Terenas stand.
Ooh.
So what you could do instead is take a third base as a human, like bottom right or something. Just grind out a massive army and take another base and try to get a 100-foot army with 8 flying machines to deal with the Fairy Dragons.
Now, I like the Zeppelin Harass because what it does is it basically keeps the Night Elf close to his base, prevents him from going out on the map, prevents him from scouting too as well. But here's a Hippo, and that Hippogriff, if he gets the... No way. If he gets the Zeppelin kill over the ocean, that would be...
He will if he doesn't go south
an
now.
absolute nightmare. There is no way. No, right. Okay.
Actually,
he needs to evacuate... Oh, no! Oh! Oh,
come on!
He still needs to evacuate. The units are going to pop out here. The TP was forced eventually there. Oh my goodness, that was a close call there, giving us a little bit of a sweaty palm moment here. But Grubby, look at Priest's base right now. We see double Griffins Avery coming out. So what are we going to see in that regard? Perhaps Griffin Riders to counter the Bears?
What?
Player's forces are
How can you even consider that? There's got to be some other way. Okay. Yeah. Mortar's Griffins is actually really cool, and I didn't expect it. He's got upgrades for both of them. There we go. Mortar Griffin. Okay. Mortars deal with the Dryads. Griffins deal with the Bears. And the cool thing is they deal with the Bears. They're not dealing with Bears like Breakers. Like they know how to take around. No, they're not messing around. It's fast. And then suddenly you need Starshaped to make Hippogriffs. But the longer it takes for him to find out about this transition, the more he's filling his army with useless units like Dryads and Bears. Because, make no mistake, Mortar Griffin, dumpsters, Bear Dryad, if your hero levels are not too bad. And they are bad, but if they're not too bad.
Right, in the meantime, we see Starshaped trying to get some experience, trying to get some items here from the strongest camp available on the map with the Magnetar Reaver in the place. That thing is no joke, by the way. Deals so much damage, chaos damage, but also drops a nice little something in return. He gets the Cloak of Flames. Fits the Demon Hunter quite nicely when he's surrounded by many units. Not the best item available, but basically saves him from picking his other abilities, so not too bad, I guess.
Yep. If he was even considering it, he won't do it now. That's pretty cool. Or he could give it to the Panda, reskill the demon, have double immolation, but nah.
Do they stack?
I don't know for certain. I think yes, but I'm not 100%. Yeah, it should. I think it should, but I'm not sure because Lightning Shield doesn't stack. 2 Lightning Shields.
Right.
Okay, we have Paladin halfway. Griffins coming out with Storm Hammers. They have 2 attack upgrades on Footman. And if actually Starshaped clicks the Footman now, he will know. He sees 1 Mortar, he sees Footy with 2-0, he should know. That would mean he has legitimate grounds now to start going air. However, he is producing a bear.
Ooh.
So he doesn't know.
Stormhammer upgrade available soon. Currently in development for the Griffin Riders. And the first 2 of them are already part of the army right now. I'm not sure if Starshaped have seen them yet. I don't think so. But he's going to get the second red creep camp of the map here. The second Magnetor Weaver going over, dealing heavy damage actually on the Demon Hunter. Oh, he has to use the healing scroll for that. Oh, that was a panic moment for sure. Maybe Starship was looking somewhere else right now. The Claws of Attack, no way he's going to leave that, right?
Yeah, he's not going to leave the Claws plus 12. He is going to leave the Tome of Agility plus 2, which is really good too. But maybe he was looking at the development. Looking at the development of the 2 towers in the top left of the map. The gold mine, this is so cool. These towers are having a little bit of territorial thing. Hey, Zapper! Archmage!
Zapper coming in.
What is he doing? Is he just right-clicking? The whole Knight of Army is here!
That was unfortunate. He even got a heal off from the Paladin, who's also joined the army as a 3rd hero right now. The Archmage in a grave situation here has to use the TP. I think he tried a little bit too hard to go for the expansion. And he also loses the Paladin. That was so weird. He completely ignored the Night Elf army.
Now, a Fairy Dragon just died to creeps, so Starshaped also has small losses. And now he's killing Huntresses to drop down below 80 food cap again. You don't just right-click a Tree of Life in the middle of Bears, Demon Hunter with Claws plus 12, Cloak of Flames, Panda. That was weird.
Yeah, that cost him a lot of momentum and a lot of units too. Thank God Human has AoE healing there, but the Griffin low, the Footies are all hurt. This could actually be the perfect time for a Night Elf counterattack. Creep-wise, we're almost empty on the map. There's only 1 camp left available, I think, on the right-hand side of the map for bulk. But yeah, what is Starship going to do now? Is he going to add some higher tech units, maybe some chimeras here? But he doesn't really have any counters to the Griffins, right?
He's focusing the Demon Hunter. He's focusing the Demon instead of Bears with Griffins. That's not what you want to be doing. He's got so much protection. He needs to take care of these Bears. He hasn't hit a bear once. He's killing the Dryads, good job. But what about the Griffins on the Bears? And is he gonna get the Demon Hunter?
No way!
He's gonna get the Demon Hunter! He just get it! Alright, I'll take it back.
How is that possible? He had an invul, but the Bash Mountain King RNG to the extreme, and that all of a sudden turns so well for the Human. I can't believe. Just right-click the Demon Hunter, lol.
Just right-click him, lol. And now it's 55 versus 55 food. And PriesT is like, yeah, that's what I do. I just killed the Demon Hunter. I don't need no damage increase on bears, heavy armor with my magic damage Griffins. I'm just gonna kill the demon, and once I do, there's nothing that will stop me. Nothing, you hear me?
Oh boy.
That's not really true, because this panda will stop him! Ah! Okay, good heal scroll.
Okay, yeah, that was a last-second saving effort here, of course. The Paladin dangerously low. Everything is hurt for the human, so it's all about healing. It's all about microing here as well. And look, I mean, Grubby wasn't deceiving you guys. He wasn't joking when he said that the Griffins weren't joking against the Bears because they deal so much damage onto the heavy armor with their magic damage. And fortunately for Starshaped, the army wasn't really that big anymore for PriesT. Imagine if he had a couple of mortars in the mixer, he could have actually destroyed so many buildings. He could have maybe even gone for the expansion. But as it is right now, the PriesT himself needs to be on the lookout here. So many hurt units against the fire breath. Oh my goodness, is the paladin gonna die?
No staff. And he actually greeted out taking Devotion Aura instead of D-Shield. That was a good job stormbolting the Soul Hippogriff and focusing it down with the Water Elementals. But then he lost a Griffin to a Fire Breath and then the Paladin as well. And it really seems like he wants to see what happens when Panda gets level 6. Panda is 1999 XP. If he gets a single kill...
There he goes.
There we go.
Oh my god. I've watched one of those games very recently. It was Bizarre. No, it was not Bizarre. It was Saidi versus Joker. And there we had a level 6 Pandaren. And let me tell you guys, this hero is a one-man army. It's a one-man killing machine. When he goes for the Pandaren Pell, Storm, Earth, and Fire, it's going to be really hard, especially for human, I feel, to take care of that because they lack a little bit of hero damage with this army.
Yeah, it's a lot better than it is in Heroes of the Storm. I was so disappointed when I saw that one Panda can't win a whole team fight with the ult, because here...
Next week though, Grubby, rework coming in.
Yeah. They deal a lot of damage in this game. They have like 60 damage each, and you have 3, so you're doing like 200 DPS with autos. Then you have Taunt, Immolation, Cyclone, Dispel. It's pretty sick. And Windwalk.
That's so good. Yeah, exactly. You throw enemy units into the air.
Focus the Demon Hunter damage.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm not even mad here. I think he could actually do it this time, you know, because the air supremacy here still goes for the human, as crazy as that may sound with hippos on the field, but they came a little bit too late here, I feel. The Pandaren yet refraining from using his ulti, which actually might save him the fight at some point. The Dryad's also looking pretty strong now, trying to focus down the Griffin Riders, but the Pandaren is actually TPing out instead of using his ulti.
Oh, great stuff and great Holy Light by PriesT. He actually saves that Griffin. The Panda TP'd out with 130 mana, which actually means he couldn't have cast it even if he wanted to. And it looks like he didn't want to summon the ult. I even question if he picked it. And I know that's a crazy thought because it's so good. But all these pandas have heavy armor, so they take bonus damage from Griffins as well. And maybe he feels the only way I can counter Griffins is to do Drunken Haze Fire Breath combo one after another. Maybe that's how he's thinking. But the Demon Hunter focus is paying off by PriesT. He's now trying to tower up. And he kills the Wisp that scouted his expansion attempt. And the Demon Hunter is in the altar. And the Tree of Life finished in the top left. However, Starshaped built it too far from the mine. So it's not entangling yet. He has to reposition it, and he does. But that cost him some valuable time. And there's creeps left. Paladin is now getting level 3.
Yeah, that means more healing against the hurt units, which will come in very handy. And are we really going full distance, ladies and gentlemen? Can PriesT do what many of us probably wouldn't have guessed after game 1 and 2? Can he go for a game number 5? It currently looks like it. The army of the human looks very strong still. And as you said, Grubby, I actually agree with you. I think if he had gone for the stronger combo with, Drunken Haste and Fire Breath, against all those air units, the flying machines in particular, that could have been really solid, could have been really strong. Because if he goes for the Pandaren Pels right now with Stormers and Fire, what is he really going to achieve with that? He can't really target air, except for the Storm Spirit he can. That's going to be it. And the heroes are basically untouchable anyways with the Paladin getting so strong now.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, we do have that skill overlay. I actually had Kendric's webcam over it, but I see now that he did indeed pick that ult, but he decided not to use it in the fight, which is quite telling with how he views, just like you're saying now, how he views their effect compared to the AoE combo. Flying Machine's getting some pot shots in at Hippogriffs. He does have that flak cannon for splash damage. PriesT has his expansion secured. Didn't pick up the Tome of Agility, which chat is probably reeing about. There is no TP for human, so I would say he probably would want that, seeing as how we're now fighting over large distances.
Yeah.
And the Flying Machine are getting a 3rd upgrade. Don't know if that's justified for just 6 Flying Machines, 3rd attack upgrade. Oh yeah, never mind. He's got 4 mortars. Absolutely. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, this is such a weird army composition for the human right now. Barely any ground units. It's all up in the air. And the ground units that are now slowly but surely trickling into the fray are some knights, which is great frontline addition. Yeah. And mortar teams against all those Dryads, which are going to be the Night Elves' main source of Dispel. Of course, main source of anti-air as well. Because how many Hippogriffs do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's
6.
actually pretty solid.
Yeah, but they're going to get shredded by the water elementals and flying machines. Actually, they'll do okay against this number of flyings, but once there's like 12, the flyings are going to win easier. And I get why he's making dryads, because they can't get hit by griffins. But we all know Priest is just going to focus the demon hunter anyway. So you might as well have had archers.
Oh, look at what Priest is doing here. He's creating a little bit of additional fighting ground with the mortars targeting down the trees. So he doesn't really suffer from a choke point too much. And the mortars are hammering down the damage on those unarmored units. The Dryas are getting absolutely demolished. The Hippogriffs are in here, forcing the damage onto the Griffins. Pretty nice here, but the Demon Hunter dies once again. He falls. Level 6 Pandaren is all that's left for the Night Elf in terms of heroes. And it is so hard right now at this point for the Night Elf to hold his ground against ground superiority and air supremacy coming in from Priest, who's so eager, so determined right now to take us to a game number 5.
Let's look. Here's another fight coming in. Still no ult by the Panda. I'm sure that's a question burning on everyone's mind. Why won't he ult? We want to see that ult. The question is, would it have helped though? We may never see. We may never get to that situation, because we have Priest pushing in here with his mortars. 3-0 attack upgrades on the mortars.
Crazy.
He can go for the altar. We see the lights twinkling in the altar. So if he takes it down, that's Demon Hunter. Progress reset, forcing a tavern rebuy maybe.
Yeah, one thing we cannot underestimate though is the crit of the Pandaren. You know, if this hero gets ignored for too long, he can dish out a surprising number of damage, and he's going for the right target this time. Going for the squishy mortar teams here who all take significant damage. The TP even has to be used to evacuate those units. Fortunately enough for Priest, there is a shop nearby, so he can get those healings out. Paladin, of course, helping big time there too. And mana also seems to be a little bit of an issue for the Pandaren. After 1 or 2 combos, he's basically dry, and he needs way more than that.
Yeah, that's true. He did not get lucky on the items in terms of the Panda mana. 360 on the pool. There might still be a Mantle of Intelligence hidden on this Murloc Flesh Eater just to his left. Might be worth a try. 45 mana extra, nothing to sneeze at.
Look at Priest. He's so proactive on the map now, Grubby. He's trying to really keep Starshaped contained, especially while, of course, the Demon Hunter is still dead. Maybe with Griffin and Mortar Focus Fire, he could have done it. Yeah, he's back now. There we go. Let's see what's going to happen here. The mana burn goes through. The Focus Fire once again, all on the Demon Hunter, baby. The Bears are left ignored a little bit. The Dryads are not, though, and we see some beautiful staff micro by both players right now, actually. And it looks like this time, you know, with a freshly added Demon Hunter, he's holding his ground. Some blocks now even against the Mountain King here. The Paladin also dropping low. The Demon Hunter is super fast at this point. Needs one more attack. The body blocks are real. Starshaped, you madman, can you do this? Can you come back with insane body blocking and target focusing?
No,
Level 6 Demon Hunter. There we go.
Yes, he hasn't got the mana, but no invulnerability was used. The Panda still no mana for the Panda Pals, but he won this fight decisively. Priest forgot his flying machines in the fight. He got his mortars, Drunken Haste, and Fire Breath. And now, with 2 mines versus 1, Starshaped in a position of comfort, pushing in, killing the heroes. Priest, it was too difficult for him to micro in that fight. The food was equal, but Starshaped once again reigned supreme. But what a sick game here. The Archmage survives for 1 second more.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Now, on the other hand, Demon Hunter drops a little bit low, doesn't care about these peasant attacks, and wow, Priest goes down with a glorious spark of comeback. He just couldn't pull it through. That one moment where he didn't pay enough attention to his heroes cost him the game and the series eventually and broke his back. Ladies and gentlemen, we were almost there at the game 5, but in the end, kudos to Starshaped, who, in a situation like that, where I'm pretty sure he thought himself ahead for the majority of the game, all of a sudden to find himself with the back against the ropes, you know, he maintained and remained a cool head, and that is something to admire, and that is something worthy of a champion.
Yeah, and he's a 2-time champion now. Priest did a lot better than the first game suggested.
100%.
This was a wonderful game. He learned from game to game, and he still has things to work on as well. And that's, of course, that's always going to be the case for everyone. I think he has a lot of material to work with, and I'm sure if he keeps applying himself, he'll be getting a lot better from a match like this. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities like this. It's thanks to Heroes Hearth and Fight Night that he gets to fight on a stage like this for you guys. And I think it's a phenomenal experience for him, most likely. I'd love to hear from him sometime how he experienced this. He played really well, but he lost 1-3. Still better than Kiwikaki did 2 weeks ago in terms of score, at least, and a nice showing of what human can do when played well.
I mean, it's basically an achievement to say, hey man, I took a game off Starshaped after getting beaten twice in a row. So that's definitely something for him to keep in his achievements list. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to say thank you so much for your attention, and especially people like Delarock and all the other cool cats that donated some bits during this broadcast, which will go the majority of right into the player's pocket for the prize pool to increase that a little bit more. Grubby, I'm enjoying all the casts with you. I'm enjoying, watching all the games with you, but I think this might have been my personal favorite fight night so far. I really, really enjoyed the games. We saw a huge variety of strategies. We saw some tower rushes. We saw some late game combos and a lot of level 6 heroes, actually. So I think we had a blast today, didn't we?
I really enjoyed Hunter versus Pride as well, 3-2. But
True.
I think our cast is getting more and more comfortable because we're doing more of them, and it just keeps on getting better and better. This was my favorite or second favorite as well. I'm with you on that one. It was really cool, and the chat is great as well. Yeah. We do have one more thing going, though, it seems, but we'll take a break and we'll inform you on what else is coming. Thanks for watching, and see you guys soon.
Haha, if you thought we were done just yet with a lousy 3-1, you are mistaken. In today's fight night, we're going to give you a little something extra. Because we had so much fun casting and because we like these players so much, we want to see them again. So now we're going to reverse and switch races. We're going to see Priest on the Night Elves, and we're going to see Starshaped on the humans. And, we're just going to have a little bit of fun, see what the players can do when they're not in their comfort zone.
Yeah, it's always nice for bragging rights. I may have lost the show match, or I may have lost the fight night, but I beat you back with your own race. Or, look, even after I won the fight night, I beat you back with your own race as well. So there can be no doubt that my win was due to imbalance. There's a lot of bragging rights and things like this. So it's pretty cool that the players were up for it. I'm going to give you one more fun match coming out here on Last Refuge, which would have been the final map otherwise, with Priest as Night Elf and Starshaped as human.
Thank you, by the way, Funny Nick, for a massive drop of 1,000 bits. Absolutely amazing. That goes right into the prize pool and, helps keep the production going as well. So thank you very much, and all the other cool cats that donated some bits today. You guys are amazing. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see Priest, this time with the Night Elves, and we see Starshaped, this time with the humans. And already Starshaped going with the barracks first. Okay, let's do it.
But the funny thing is, build orders, right? His farm is 10 seconds too early. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a farm finish early, except when it comes at the cost of gold, which it did. You don't actually need the farm that fast. It has half production time of the barracks. So he could have filled his gold mine a little bit earlier and not sacrifice on gold income. So slightly inefficient build, but totally fine. We get what he's doing here. He's replicating the strategy that Priest played against him on Terenas, Naga and Footman Rush. Perhaps in a bid to say, look, hold my water with electrolytes. I'll show you how it's done.
Hold my blonde. There we go. Okay, so Altar of Kings will be finished soon. Now let's see. We're going to see a Demon Hunter. I can totally understand that feeling, by the way. I would definitely want to play a Demon Hunter for once as well if I wasn't a main Night Elf player. Feels just good to have these hard-hitting agility heroes. That was actually something that Priest said during the pre-interview as well, that he wished that Human finally got an agility hero. Well, we cannot confirm or guarantee that. It would be nice too. I feel that sentiment as an undead player.
Yeah. I was surprised to see how forceful he was about that. Like how he's like, Human finally needs to get an agility hero. It makes sense. They need to be able to do some true physical damage, because now our destiny is tied to the Archmage. We see Priest coming. Oh, you know what? Is Priest actually replicating Starshape's build order a little bit that he used against Kiwikake? This is a double archer before Moonwell finished. He's not doing the extractor trick though from StarCraft, the Ancient of Wonders trick to push over to 21 food. He just made a demon double archer and recognized, hey, this is a tavern build. What's Starship doing? He got supply blocked. He got food blocked.
He's not going for the hero either, because Priest is currently blocking the tavern, and even if he had gotten the hero, that one would have gotten mana burn twice at least. So Starship is completely zoned out, has no heroes. The foodies are getting demolished too, and he has no resources.
He's making an Archmage. This is like 6 footman Archmage.
It's like, okay, I'm done with it. Going back to the Archmage.
This is like next level play by Starshaped. I can't make a hero if I don't have a farm. And if I don't make a hero, I can't get mana burned. Hey, how about I just keep that advantageous situation to the end of the game? I never make a hero. You have mana burn? Lol. Wasted.
Yeah, and you know what? This is so next level. Priest doesn't even expect it, so he doesn't even go creep. He's just looking for the hero.
He's wasting
desperately. Time. He hasn't actually gotten a single experience point as well. And haha, surprise! He's going for the Archmage all along.
This really ticks me off. you save your hero for 5 minutes, and when it comes out, Demon is still there to mana burn you the second you come out.
Priest really has a score to settle after just losing the series. Like a pit bull, he won't let go. Comes in with some funky Wisp micro here to block the steps of the Archmage. Sexy, and goes for another mana burn. This is not going well for Starshaped.
Yeah, third mana burn coming in. Pig failed the body block. Is he gonna mana burn again? Will he press B and right click? Or left click? Is it left click? Yeah. Will he press B and left click the Archmage?
Yep, wakes up the creeps. There we go. We're gonna have a nice little skirmish there. Priest shadow melding his archer, but there's a dust available now, which is of course really good. The Archmage has taken some significant damage too. Tries to get maybe some lasses on those archers. Oh no way!
Does he not have mana burn? Why didn't he burn?
Too many buttons to press, perhaps, Grubby? I don't know. And the Archmage has boots of speed now, so see you later, alligator.
Oh,
there's an archer.
There's
No
one
blocks, though.
archer.
There's another
Takes it
one
to
coming
22.
from the top.
Dun it. Can he get the block? Oh, dust. What a game.
This is intense, yep. 18 HP. The Demon Hunter on the chase. Hasn't really gotten any boots himself, though.
A footman died to creeps in the meantime. Priest is at 19 food, 900 gold down. He lost almost all of his archers. No, he has 2 archers. That means he's heavily under-wisped. He has 80 lumber. He's making an Ancient of Lore with no lumber for a second hero. Where did all his wisps go? I think he just he really undermade them. He did double archer, no wisp, no extractor trick, like no Ancient of Wonder trick, and then just teched with too few wisps.
Perhaps as a human player, you're just used to those workers that bring home 10 lumber all the time, and you forgot the wisps only give you 5 per tick. So
they pretty much need the same worker count. It's mostly just a build order thing.
All right, Starshape's Demon Hunter now runs back into the hands of the Demon Hunter. The Archmage falls, and that is first blood in terms of heroes. And here comes reinforcements. The Pandaren now entering the fray too. Now, mind you, it was just a level 1 Archmage, so the old man is going to be back on his horse in no time. But yeah, Priest, Panda Butts blocking him in and gets another footman, it seems.
Okay, nice job by Priest. He's also got this very safe double Ancient of War setup at home. For some reason, he just made a second Ancient of War. Guess he didn't feel safe, and that's gonna definitely keep him safe. The second lore is late. He's got 10 lumber, so he can't make a single Dryad. And he's only got 2 Moonwells. But there we go. Ancient of War is uprooted. He's gonna maybe think of creeping the laboratory. Okay. Does he know that this Ancient of War is going to die when he does it like this?
Yeah, he hasn't munched on a tree. There is no wisps nearby to repair it. And this creep camp is not to be trifled with, you know. Iron.
He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose to the camp. Panda will drop to 10%.
The entire camp is bloodlusted by now.
And
inner fire on those ogres. That's no joke.
Like, even if you get it, was it worth it if you lose both heroes?
And he's losing so much time right now. Time that the human player, Starshaped in this case, can use to actually either creepjack or steal away other camps on the map. Like he's doing it right now. He's getting the Goblin Merchant much more easily.
Almost lost his archer. Almost lost the Ancient of War. Almost lost the Panda.
The Ogre Magic is still alive. No item. This was not worth it. And the Ancient of War.
No. Now I see why he made a second. But he needs a third, because his second is dying to the mercenary. Look at the Mercamp observer. Look. Look at the Mercamp. Bottom, middle bottom. Middle bottom.
There we go.
Now I see why
for the next one. There is no way he's going to lose 2 Ancient of Wars. No way. He's going to get it, yeah. The mercenaries. The creeps. Yep.
So
the mud golem has it enough.
Ancient of War creeping is so OP, Night of can just creep for free. But then he realized he doesn't know exactly how to do it. Like you have to eat trees and have actually got any units.
Yeah.
By the way, if he doesn't hit the golem, it's fine. The little mud golem. But if he hits the mud golem, the whole camp will aggro. Let's see. Is he going to hit the golem? He's gonna finish the troll trapper.
Here we go. The mud golem is tenacious. Just refuses to let go. This is a feisty little dude. All right. If only Starshaped knew what was going on right now on the enemy side, he would immediately invade this Night Elf base.
The Starshaped is playing a game of Warcraft multiplayer, and PriesT is currently playing the campaign on hard.
All right. And all of a sudden, Starshaped is going to be like, wait a minute. Okay, so where are all of your units? What happened? Why is your Demon Hunter still level 1? What have you done the last 5 minutes, PriesT?
I had a hard day, okay? He's got 3 bears with Adept, but tier 3 isn't finished yet. So you can just use standard bear auto attack. I mean, why should they always be upgraded to Druids of the Claw final form, right? Like, there's still Druids of the Claw, even in this form.
Yeah, there must be some use. There must be a reason why Blizzard added this form to the game.
Why do they have attack damage? So that you could use them.
Exactly. Oh man, this just looks so rough. Look at
3 bears and snares. There's some poaching going on here. And the hunters of Starshaped found their mark. Illegal bear poaching by these riflemen. Don't worry, you don't have to report. We from HeroesHearth will report. This brutal poaching.
After this game, PriesT is going to make sure that this replay never reaches the surface of the light. No one is ever going to witness this abomination of a creep camp.
This never happened. Everyone actually tuned out 20 minutes ago. This never happened. No, but I think this is very therapeutic for PriesT.
Yeah.
Because he realizes Night Elf isn't that easy to play. So this helps him a lot to process the loss of the Fight Night match, Kendric.
Yeah, absolutely. And also to the viewers out there, you know, a lot of people have gotten used to complaining about certain things, especially Night Elf related, you know, OP, Imba, creeping. It's not fair. But you could really say that even players of the caliber of PriesT, when they're pushed out of their comfort zone, it's not easy. It's not as easy as these really good Night Elf players are making it seem or making it look. So I think we all learn to appreciate the skill that is involved in Warcraft 3, both on the human and the Night Elf side. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, our fight night comes to an end. We've had great games left, right, and center. We give a special kudos to PriesT, who entered this fight, stepped into the ring as a little bit of the underdog, but showed us some great games, especially the last 2 were quite the nail-biter. We had a wonderful time with you guys out there. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. But the final words, as always, go to Grubby.
Thank you very much, Kendric, and have a great 2 weeks until the next fight night. I'll be missing our time together, but looking forward to it simultaneously. Not the next Friday, but 2 Fridays from now, we'll have another fight night as Starshaped meets his 3rd opponent, the 2nd challenger. He's now a 2-time winner. Who is it going to be? We'll inform you as the weeks go on. So give a follow to this channel, twitch.tv/HeroesHearth, so you know when next we go live. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely night. We know it's late for some of you. We appreciate you watching. Hope you had a good time. We'll see you next time. Have a great night. Bye-bye.